Hey guys, and welcome back to A&J Education YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to select the university for you to attend after you've already been accepted and have several offers to consider. So if you're currently trying to make your mind up and you're not sure where to go, keep watching. Hey, by the way, guys, just a reminder, if you haven't already signed up for my university admissions and CV building newsletter, do so via the link below. I send an email every 3 weeks, which is packed with a ton of useful advice and information. And if you have any questions, the best way to get in touch with me is by tweeting me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active, and that's where you're most likely to get a response. Okay, so let's say you've applied to universities, whether in the UK, the US, Canada, wherever it is, and you now have several offers. Well done. So how do you actually pick that university? University is a huge investment of your money, of your time. How do you pick the right one? Well, the first one, which is, some people would say superficial, but the first thing I would look at is university ranking. And the reason being, unfortunately, we live in an imperfect world where people judge the book by their cover. So you will be judged, and people will form opinions about you based on the university or what you have in your on your CV. So do some Googling and check out the university rankings. Now, do not just believe the rankings that university itself declares about itself. So when university says, "Oh, we're number 17 for entrepreneurship," or we're number 5 for marketing, I would actually do Google. Look at several competing rankings. So in the UK, Times Higher Education, Guardian, they're the two big ones. In America, there are, again, several websites. Just type in top 100 or whatever, top 500 university rankings, and you can see the rankings, and each one is different because they're all subjective. I don't really trust any ranking, to be honest. They all lie to an extent, and they all give inaccurate information. So it's by taking several rankings that you can get a clearer picture. So your second parameter, the size of the university, and more importantly, the teaching ratio. So the teaching staff to student ratio in your department. So maybe the university will say, look, we have teaching ratio of, 3:1, 3 students per every teaching academic. Sounds great, but maybe that's an average for the university, but in your department is more like 20:1, right? So you want to check out and sort of dig a bit deeper, specifically into the teaching ratio in the department that you're interested in. This applies to the UK. Obviously, in America, you're applying to college, but it's less relevant to you. But still, you can get an understanding from what's the teaching ratio, at least in some of the majors, some of the departments that you may be interested in. Point number 3: employment prospects. So the first thing I would do when looking at this, the universities generally have extensive data on employment prospects, and they'll say something like, within 6 months post-graduation, XYZ% of our students are in full-time employment, earning average salary of this, or they're in further education, blah, blah, blah. Now, a lot of this data can be misleading, and universities tend to basically massage the figures to make themselves look better. A very good example of that is, I don't think it was done on purpose, but for example, my department, when I studied at Oxford, material science, had proudly claims, or at the time back in 2012, claimed to have the highest graduate salary of any subject for any department at Oxford, which sounds really impressive. However, if you dig deeper into how the data is obtained, they send a questionnaire 6 months post-graduation to every single graduate. Typically, around 10% of students reply, and the ones who reply are the ones who tend to be doing okay. If you're not doing okay, generally people don't want to reply. So for material science, you have around 30 students. So 10%, that's basically 3 people who replied with their relatively high graduate salaries. And so the figure that the department then used was quite nice, impressive figure, significantly above English or other subjects. So, but of course, English has a couple hundred students, whilst material science has 30. So, do dig deeper and question the data that you're given. Don't just buy the stuff that the university gives you, because they can be biased. Another thing you can do, go on LinkedIn, and if you know the industry or the company that you want to work in, just see how many people from your school are employed there. Are there any? Is it quite common? Is it sort of a well-established path of transition from your university, your department, into this company or this industry, or not? Again, it's not to say that you can't get a job at a certain company. It's not that you can't do something unless you study on these specific subjects, but it's definitely a consideration if others have, from your school, from your department, have gone into this industry, into this firm. That's generally a positive sign. Point number 4 to consider: sports, social life, stuff like distance from home, from the university. How big the town is? Is it a small town campus feel university like St Andrews, where the whole village is dominated by the universities? It does have a Dartmouth feel, which is pretty much the only Ivy League, that is extremely tight knit community, because it's further away. Some would say it's sort of in the middle of nowhere. Others will disagree, but it's not Columbia. That's in the center of that's in New York, or Harvard in Cambridge, on the doorstep of Boston. So check out that information. Take a look at some other stuff that's relevant to you. Do you enjoy swimming? Is there a swimming pool? Are you really into drinking? How much does the beer cost? So check out the factors that are of interest to you. What societies, what clubs, etc. What sort of social life you can have at university. It's a big time commitment on your end, and you want to be happy for those years. No point you being miserable or missing out on some opportunities that you could have at another university. Point number 5, cost of living. Last but not least, very important point: try to understand the total cost of your education. So not just the price of the tuition fees, but also look at the cost of living. For example, cost of living in Cambridge, Massachusetts, if you're going to Harvard or MIT, will be significantly higher than if you're studying in Sheffield or Hull. So, it just depends, and those are things that you need to check out. So rent, food bill, pocket money, travel. If you need to have a bus pass or to purchase a bicycle, or whatever way you're traveling between lectures or between different buildings, check it out. It all adds up. It's all it's all very important. Another thing, a small tip: if you have several offers, there is literally nothing for you to lose, assuming you do it politely and appropriately, and you're not sort of being presumptuous. But try and play off universities against each other. See if somebody will offer you a discount, scholarship, some financial aid. You can reach out to the university saying, "Hi, look, you were always my top choice. I'm really excited about this program, really great. However, I'm on a tight budget. I'm wondering, are there any scholarships or perhaps aid that you can offer me? Perhaps they can offer you a discount on student accommodation. They can do various things, maybe some free meals in student canteen for a year. There is stuff that they can do that doesn't necessarily have to cost them too much. Let's say they have five or 10 spare rooms, especially now with COVID, some international students are staying away. Maybe they have some spare rooms in the building. Well, they can offer you a discount, which will save you a lot of money, doesn't cost them that much, but makes a big difference to you. So again, the worst case scenario is they just say no, but there is really nothing to lose by that. So hope this was all useful. Remember that a decision is important, so don't rush it. Carefully look through all 5 points, do your research, talk to as many people as you can, and all the best to you. Take care.